What is going on, YouTube? My name is Fester, and today we're going to talk about two video games, Counter-Strike and Call of Duty. Now, these are two very popular first-person shooters, and they are both very different games. Counter-Strike being a tactical, skill-based shooter, while Call of Duty, while being skill-based, has a lower skill gap and is made for the bro in all of us. Now, I'm going to go through both of these games and compare them by their fan base, by what platform they're on, and just their gameplay in general, because I feel like that's the best way to do it. And even though these games are essentially completely different, I think it's a good way for them to be compared. So the fan base. Counter-Strike Global Offensive has a generally older fan base and is growing rapidly. There are more players online every month, and it's awesome. The scene of Counter-Strike Global Offensive is generally competitive and mature. There is little pub scene where most people go and play competitive, which is the pub scene. It's quite awesome. Now in Call of Duty, you have a younger fan base that is not mature at all. I hate being called racial slurs every time I play the game. And most of the audience is casual, considering there is a campaign. Most people buy the video game for the campaign, not for the multiplayer. Call of Duty's competitive roots have only been around for about 6, 7, maybe 8 years compared to Counter-Strike. Since its inception, it was a competitive game from the start. Call of Duty is growing rapidly in the esports scene. There's been a $1 million tournament the past 4 years, as well as many other UMG, UGC, and MLG tournaments held throughout the year. While Counter-Strike has had pro support for nearly all of its lifetime, and it still boggles my mind that Call of Duty got an X Games spot last year in Austin before Counter-Strike got its spot at the winter X Games. So, moving to the platform, I know, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but the PC is a better machine to play games on. You can upgrade the processor, the RAM, the GPU, you can upgrade what screen you're playing on anyway, but it is essentially the perfect thing to competitively game on, because you can upgrade it and make yourself more likely to hit shots because your frame rate is higher and whatnot. While the consoles, yeah, they're really useful tools for gamers on a budget, as well as just somebody who wants just to compartmentalize their gaming experience into just a little box that they put on their TV in their living room. One big advantage that the PC has over the console is the mouse and keyboard. The mouse and keyboard is the most accurate way to aim and the most precise way to aim. Those little micro movements you can get with your wrist, especially at lower sensitivities with the mouse, make aiming with a mouse and keyboard a whole lot better. On consoles, you have a controller that has auto-aim. See, I think auto-aim is given a bad rap because of snipers and whatnot, but it is needed on consoles because you have, with the analog sticks, you have a latency. You have that like dead zone in the middle of the stick where even if you move it a slight amount, your character will not change its look direction or move. And the auto aim is needed because it needs to mimic those small little micro movements that a PC and keyboard can do. This is where the console sort of goes ahead, though. Having a controller means that a game is easy to pick up. You don't have an entire keyboard to intimidate a player. You know, I started on a console and I've slowly moving to PC gaming. I still love gaming on my console though. But when I started out, I couldn't aim worth anything, and I can't aim worth anything on the keyboard and mouse right now either, because I didn't start it. Also, I think something that PC users tend to forget is multiplayer LAN support with one console. You know what I mean? Like, instead of, I don't think you can hook up your PC in LAN on your PC with 2 people. You can't really have 2 keyboards hooked up or 2 mice. So, you know, I think that's a big advantage, like having a party and having people play on a console, you know? Now, another big thing that the PCs have over is the graphics, or the interchangeable parts. You know, upgrading a CPU, GPU, RAM, and fixing your FPS does wonders for gaming. You know, having Counter-Strike run at 120 frames gives it a very good smoothness. Especially if you have a monitor that runs at 120 hertz, you can see things before people see you if they're running 60 hertz or 45 hertz, whatnot. And that having this hardware advantage over somebody can be a good thing and a bad thing. You know, it does sort of blow that somebody, just because they have more money than me and more initiative to make their PC better, can do better in Counter-Strike than me. So, two sides to every coin. Now, getting to something that is a bit more controversial, the gameplay of both. Call of Duty claims to be a tactical shooter. I really disagree. Tactical is the definition of Counter-Strike. You know, you have to move around the map with the sense of what your team is doing, and if you die in a Counter-Strike match, you're out for the entire rest of the round. And yeah, Call of Duty has search, but you have respawn game modes like capture the flag, uplink, and hardpoint that your deaths really don't matter, only in those clutch situations. Also, Counter-Strike is completely a skill-based game, with the mouse and keyboard especially, but you go into this game, you're going to get rocked the first couple weeks that you play it, because people have been playing this game for 5, 6, maybe 10, 15 years, you know? They know how to play this game, and they know how to play it well. A lot of people who disagree with me that the Call of Duty fan base, or the Call of Duty gameplay, is not casual. It really is casual. There's a low skill gap. A lot of people who played the game for a year can be just as good as somebody who's been playing the game for 5 years. There's such a low skill gap to these guns. These guns don't have any recoil. Also, the COD community is bro-like. You know, you want to be that guy that saves the entire match for your team. You're essentially a one-man army in Call of Duty, whereas in Counter-Strike, you're not a one-man army. You can't take on the enemy team by yourself in every situation and win, because that's just not how Counter-Strike works. It works off of teamwork. Now, onto something completely and totally subjective in my eyes. A lot of people complain about DLC in Call of Duty, but it is one thing that I think keeps the game fresh. You know, you have how many extra maps over the years? 16 or 20 maps over one game's lifespan. And that really helps keep the player base active, getting these new maps. It brings in a lot for Activision. Don't get me wrong, they really do rake in the money with this. But one thing that Counter-Strike and Valve does is the skins. Oh my god. Skins are addictive. Truly addictive. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go get Counter-Strike and go open up a couple cases and tell me you're not addicted. Now let me tell you which one is a better game. Well, there really is no answer. It's really about what you prefer in a game. Do you want an extremely competitive team to play against and have to fight for every point? Or do you want to be a one-man army and keep your KD up? You know? So those are the difference between the games, but I think there is one super big difference between the games that I think really separates Counter-Strike from Call of Duty. Counter-Strike is at 3 iterations: Counter-Strike, Counter-Strike Source, and Global Offensive, since its inception during the Half-Life days. That is insane. Only 3 games since, I think, 1997 or 98. Call of Duty has released a game every year since 2007, I believe. That is completely insane. Where's the quality? Where's the quality? That's all I'm saying. I love playing both of them, so the decision is yours. I suggest give both of them a try, and be patient with both of them. Then you decide. I love playing both, so I'm going to stick to playing both. So this has been Fester. You stay classy, guys. Peace out.